Welcome to the Florida Trail Runners Project. Out in the woods, out in the swamps, down by the Willie Coochie. It started with a podcast, now it's a thing. The Florida Trail Runners. Florida Trail Runners.
All right, here we are with episode 127 of the Florida Trail Runners podcast. And on the chat, we've got Eric Kalina, Ari Rokon, and Chris Terzian with the Skunk Ape 100 mile. And Eric finished this year with the new course record for the Skunk Ape 100 mile course, running a time of 20:21:32. And Ari, who came in second place, he was also under that previous course record time. Ari finished with a time of 20:47:48. It was awesome to see these two guys go back and forth and go for it. Now, Chris, he finished with a time of 33:03. And last year, he finished the 50 mile with a time of 14:43:28. So it was great, seeing all these guys come out, everyone who finished. We're talking the 100 mile, and for the next episode, we'll be talking to some guys who did the 50 mile. And hey, with that, let's just jump right into it.
Feet hit dirt where the palm trees sway. Mossy oaks, palmetto pines, and cypress knees. Saw grass bending, go find your way. Swarm is rising, every step I take, I feel it flow.
Hey guys.
Yes, sir. All right.
How you doing? What?
All right. So, I guess anyway, how are you guys feeling?
All good.
Good, recovered.
Yeah, I'm good.
A few less toenails.
Well, I know Ari's feeling good too because he ran around Lake.
I am.
You saw that on Pacer.
Yeah, I feel great. I did a incline treadmill workout today, which I don't know. I hate treadmills, but watching Luke out there suffering, I'm like, oh man, I need to get some work in.
You need to come down and do the St. Leo Hills.
I know they are pretty decent over there. Yeah.
It's more fun than the treadmill. You go round and round and round and round.
Treadmill's the worst. You'll have to show me. I don't want to be like on campus and then be like calling campus security. Well, I guess I do work for St. Leo, but campus security be like, there's some middle-aged creeper running around the school.
He's doing laps around the freshman dorm.
Exactly.
You could sign up for that treadmill. What is it? The 12 hour, 24 to St. Pete. On a treadmill for all that time if you want.
Oh, it's just terrible.
Someone just did the 100 miler on the treadmill. That's insane.
Yeah.
No, there's zero chance. I get like 3 miles in and I'm already hitting the front bumper, the side bumpers. I just can't stay steady on it. Or I'm just really inconsistent at pacing.
Oh, me too. I find it a lot harder on the treadmill to keep a fast pace. I don't know why. It's just easier to be on the street running.
Yeah. Agreed. Very much agreed.
Yeah,
I think it lies. The pace, it's a liar. The treadmill. I hate it. It seems so much fast. It's so much slower than you actually. It's terrible.
Unless you get one of those that not zero gravity, but the one that is only based on how fast you move your legs. Those ones are pretty good.
that's the curve. Yeah,
I got injured because of one of those.
Oh, maybe they're not good.
No, they're not.
I tried it once and felt like I was falling forward.
Mm-hmm.
It's just an awkward feeling.
No, I see the gym bros like slam down for like 20 seconds and then they stop and then they walk away.
So the cross.
They get their 5-minute cardio.
Not even 5 minutes. They're just on it for like a hard 20 seconds and they walk away winded and then they go back to the weights.
Then they go back to the kettlebells.
Between that and the squat rack.
Well, the older you get, you got to do some core stuff.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, the core is the most important part of being in shape.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because it takes work and it sucks.
It's always like the trail running really helps with your all that, the adductors, the abductors, the hips, all that stuff. I think it helps you really core stabilization.
Yeah, I agree.
All that uneven surface, and I think that works best. You trail run.
It's better than doing planks.
Yeah.
Way better.
Which, I mean, I have my own biased opinion that planks are useless unless you're using the roller.
Oh yeah.
No, I like the roller. That's a killer. That's a killer count.
Because then you're actually flexing and moving. there's that whole concentric and I forget the actual
Eccentric.
words. Eccentric and concentric movement. That's what actually builds that muscle hypertrophy. You're not going to get that just being stagnant in a plank.
His eyes was.
That's my bias. I think the plank is useless.
I just listen to what you tell me. I don't
Unless
know.
you got
I ain't
back-
smart enough. I hate the gym.
But only at like 5 a.m. You can't go there at 8 o'clock because that's when all the people just start pouring in there. The influencers are there with tripods. You got to go there early.
Man, my neighborhood, there ain't no influencers. It's just me and all the old people.
Every time I walk into the gym, I'm in the locker room. There's like all these young guys, these young bucks, just flexing in front of the mirror. But then again, the gym I go to is on a military base, so got all those young guys in there flexing away in the locker room after they did one set.
Yeah, I live near the villages, so I don't know. Everybody in the gym's like 72 to 92.
Oh, you poor guy.
Yeah.
That's sad.
It's nice though. It's kind of seeing some like, I don't know, 82-year-old Asian woman just out there crushing it, you know? Yeah, it's cool.
That's inspiring.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, in San Antonio where I run all the time, there's like a 4:30 in the morning lady. She's got the little 2-pound weights in her hand, and I always see her when I'm out running.
Just crushing it. It's awesome.
She's on that. I don't know what schedule. I wonder when she goes to bed. I mean, that elderly lady just rocks it.
She doesn't sleep. She's just that crazy.
Could be a vampire. I guess. I guess tell us who you are and how did you get in the trail and ultra?
Who's starting?
Round robin, whoever wants to go. But throw your name in there so people know the voice.
Me, Eric Kalina. I started a long time ago, like competitive, like running, regular street running, marathoning, way back. Like when I was like 37, I started. I started late actually, and then started doing transition to triathlon, did Ironman, stuff like that. Did a ultra way back in 2014. The Palm, what was it? Palm 100. When it existed, South Florida, just a 50K, and then I hadn't done an ultra like for a long time until I can't even remember. It was like maybe 2020 or something like that, or 2018 or 19. It was the longest I went a long time without doing any long distance other than either marathon or triathlon. But I just started loving the trails and the atmosphere of the ultra, so it was, it gets addicting, and then just like kind of want to really do much else other than ultra or trail running, That's the street running's fun too. The urban ultra was interesting, Tampa Bay 100, so, a lot of fun doing it. Hope I can keep it going.
Yeah, a 17:22 at Tampa Bay as well.
Yeah, that was a fun race.
That's incredible.
Yeah, but probably do another, well, I haven't decided what I'm doing next. I have some ideas. I'll probably do Space Pirate next year, which was, I paced and crewed my girlfriend Lindsay on that one, which I thought was really pretty run. So it was nice. I'll probably do that, and I'll give Boston one more shot next year. Go there, which is always nice to go back. In between, I haven't really decided. I'm toying with the idea of doing that Octo Ultra, which is super hot. I think it's hotter than Keys 100. So we'll see.
Which one? The Octopus?
Yeah. Super. I think it's hot. I think it's a hotter race than Keys.
Yeah, it's hot, but it's got some cool stuff in it. I did it last year.
Yeah. Oh, you did? Yeah. I just wonder. Yeah, I'm gonna have to find a crew for that one. Because my Lindsay's gonna do it, my girlfriend shoot, and I decided I did it way back. I only did the 50K, and I got there. That guy Mike Straczynski. So I was running the 50K. I was leading, and I got there before he could put the signs out to the beach. And I went down the beach, and then he didn't put the exit sign. I guess I got on the beach before he could put the exit sign off the beach. I didn't know where I was going. I ended up running like 3-4 miles down the beach, and I had to go. Then I had to go backtrack, and I was completely blown up by then. It was so hot. I ended up coming in, I think 6th or something like that. But I was like, I was just totally annoyed. But and I lost my crew. My kids were actually crewing me because they were still in high school, and I lost them. So I had no crew. They didn't know where I was, and it was hot. It was a disaster.
That's
But
awesome.
hope for some redemption on that one. So I'll do maybe sign up at 100 probably. It's my possible plans.
That's no short distance. I guess I'll go. Okay, it's Chris. I'm fairly new at ultra running. By my standards, I've only been doing it about a year and a half. I have maybe a handful of ultras that I've completed. Started out as a runner back in 2006 in an effort to lose weight. I was getting a little bit out of shape. And then, I was just running. I didn't know anything about running. Went running with one of my friends one day, and he had this cool thing called a Garmin watch that was keeping a running pace, telling us how fast we were going. I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. Didn't know anything about that. I was the average guy just doing like, hey, I'm going to go for a run. I'll just do 3 miles or claim I did 5 miles. And my friends were like, no, that was like 2.5 miles. So finally moved up and got myself a watch, but eventually drifted off and got into triathlon. Been doing triathlon for about 15 years. And then, did a few Ironmans, multiple halves, countless short distance races, and then wanted to try something different. Wanted to go back and go past the marathon distance. So did a 50 miler last year. That was up here in Jacksonville. Did a 50K, which was brutal on the Pioneer Trail in Jennings State Park. Didn't realize that Florida could have so many hills in it. I thought I was in a different state. It was beautiful though. Seeing white sand in the middle of the forest. And then had essentially 3 attempts at the 100 miler distance. I did the 50, completed it, felt good. Wanted to go into 100. The last year tried the Skunk Ape 100. I was on the train, didn't have a training plan. Got to the 50-mile point and just the mind said no more. And then follow-on race after that to try to get some redemption was long haul, in which I was running with a friend. Um, and things started falling apart at mile 67. So after I think that was my fourth loop, I stopped. And then, each time I failed, it was more like a learning experience. I was gaining more and more knowledge every time. So coming into this past Skunk Ape race, it was I went into it with much more educated on what to expect. So um, completed the 100. It wasn't pretty, 33 hours, but it was an accomplishment, my first. And at this point, it's for me, it's just looking to get better at it. So that's that's where I'm at in my ultra running journey. I'm probably a little bit older than most. I'm 55. I know age doesn't count, but it is a little factor for myself. So, but looking forward to future races.
That's awesome. I'm Ari Roshan. I have been running for 3 years. I ran track and field in high school, 100-meter, 200-meter dash, and then quit in college, and then didn't run until 3 years ago. My wife got pre-diabetic, so she started running for health, and I started running with her, and then just kind of went down the rabbit hole. And I used to drag race for a while, and I kind of quit driving race cars, and at the same time, I really got into the running thing, and been running pretty solid for the past 3 years. Like, not good. Like I DNF'd Vero, and I DNF'd Tahoe 200, but it's just I've been kind of nonstop, like one race after another. Just working on everything it takes to be okay at running. And my wife crocheted me a thing that says, carry yourself with the confidence of a mediocre white man. And I look at it because there's there's so many races that especially in the beginning of running, that I signed up for, and I'm like, yeah, I can run 100 miles. It ain't nothing. And and it's my wife just says I'm just too stubborn, like I wasn't really trained up for it or ready for it, but I just forced myself to go through it and learn and get better. And it's been fun. And I say in Florida, I feel more pressure because I feel like I can run pretty decent in Florida, and then I go out west and run a race like Wasatch or something like that, and then I'm a pack runner, because mountain goats everywhere else in the world. So it's cool. Like, I sometimes like running races out west because it's I don't feel pressure like I have to do as good, and I can sit back and enjoy it more. And it's speaking to the back of pack people, it's cool, like being out there for, you know, 30 hours or 2 days or the multi-day stuff. It's different and it hits different. It's a different kind of fun suffering versus like this was without a doubt, this was my fastest 100 I've ever run, was the Skunk Ape deal. And I had never like I had pacers set up. I had everything set up where normally I just kind of wing it, and but it's been a lot of fun. I really enjoyed your races, and I want to say your Skunk Ape Revenge, like 30K. That was my first. I wasn't an ultra distance, but that was like my first real trail race. It kind of got me into all this stuff. So,
Which, I mean, if you put all of your races together, including the one that's not on Ultra Sign Up, you're over 2,000 miles.
that's a lot. Like, I try to find like when I did the Vero last year, it was like, okay, I can do this. I can go by myself, not have a crew, not have anything, and just kind of look at it like a training run, So a lot of my races, like I tell people, I only have the mental capacity to like race maybe 3 or 4 races a year. The rest of them are really just a good training run that I can get aid stations, and survive,
Dang, I wish I could call a 100-miler a training run.
Yeah.
Man,
Well, yeah.
that's sad.
When you look at your schedule and you go, oh man, I got this 200-miler, I got this backyard, I got this, you know, eh, when you start going down the rabbit hole, like I have, it's always a training run.
That's amazing.
It's always working to get better. But yeah, it's been fun. Really enjoy it.
Or you just go for 400 and the bear and the boar.
Bear
What is
Boar
it?
444, man.
Or 444 miles.
That one taught me a lot. that one sucked. So it sucked, but it was also awesome. Something about going for a week or more and your only job is to run, and it's you kind of, your body just adapts and you get used to it, and it's like, oh, this is what we do now. This ain't nothing, So yeah, it's like I tell people, my superpower really is I get really good sleep. Like I average probably 8-9 hours a night of sleep. And like one time my Garmin actually gave me a 99 sleep score. And I was pissed because I was like, really? You couldn't give me 100%? And what happens when I get a little bit of sleep, like I get up and I start moving and I'm tight and everything kind of, it's sore and it hurts. But if I start moving, and start running again, it all kind of loosens up and I feel great, So that's always been, I've been lucky with that. I don't know if it's just the sleep or genetics or, I eat fairly healthy, but I don't know how much that really even matters.
Gosh,
So
what's your weekly mileage?
last year I averaged for the entire year 56 miles a week. Like if you take my total of last year and divide it by 52, it was 56. Right now, I'm probably a bit higher, like I'll be anywhere from 50 to, I don't know, 120, 130, but usually I end up around 70-ish, I want to say, I would
Wow,
guess.
that's
But
amazing.
yeah, you just like my wife hurt her knee recently and she was mad because it took longer to recover. And she's like, well, you'd be better by now. And I'm like, sweetheart, like I run stupid miles. Like, I think my body's just gotten used to it. It's like accepted that this is what I do now, you
So,
know?
so Ari, I got a question for you. So, me
Yeah.
being the new guy, fairly new at this, a year and a half into this, for my first 100, I had like a 16-week training plan, and then I went ahead and 12 weeks later, I tried to do the 100 miler again with 12 weeks. So, do you follow any kind of training plan with multiple races, one right after another, or you're just consistently running long miles every week?
So I don't run a set training plan. I used to. I find it kind of mind numbing now. What I do is I basically look at every day and go, all right, how do I feel? Right. And if I feel good, I'm gonna do speed work. I'm gonna do a progression run. I'm gonna get my legs going. If I don't feel good, I do what I call a recovery run or like a zone 2 run, and I'll go out and I'll do some easy miles for me, and I won't let my heart rate get above like 135. And whenever I do that, I feel like it flushes out my system, and then
Mm-hmm.
the following day I'll feel good, you know, to be able to do something that's actually building, as
Right.
opposed to just junk miles. So like I use junk miles for recovery, and then whenever I feel good, I do like, real work, So
Yeah. Back when I started my 16-week training plan, this was September October time frame, and that was to get ready for the long haul 100. It was, the first week just felt brutal, and then, after about 5 weeks, it was just amazing how well the body adapted to the longer miles.
yeah,
And like uh you said most important to you for recovery was your sleep, and I started actually sleeping longer, and I think that helped me quite a bit was the sleep, the recovery portion.
yeah, no, for sure,
Yeah.
for sure.
Amazing. It's amazing what the body can do.
Oh, it's unbelievable. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think that's a good point.
I do it by feel, but I usually do like a block of 100, 100 plus milers in a couple weeks in a row, and then I'll ramp it up, and it's difficult. 'Cause I throw in different things. Like I threw in a marathon in between them friggin' other training, which was kind of crazy because then I ended up doing 100 miles with speed and a little too much speed because I think I wore myself out. But it gets tricky when if it depends on the races you're throwing into it in between your training blocks, and kind of have to do race specific a lot of times. But yeah, for this race, I think I did like a couple weeks in a row, 100 pluses, and then ramp it down, do the taper, and then a lot of times I'll I'll just have Chat GPT or Claude or one of those. And I'll ask it a lot of questions about especially the taper because I go nuts during the taper and I just want to keep it high all the time. I mean, I'll keep my weeks have always been between 70 and 100 and something. But I have to ask it. Yeah, you can be really specific with that. It'll give you great like 3 week out, 4 week out, 2 week out, whatever it is, your taper downs, and you'll say like I'm a 55-year-old, male with years of experience in ultra, and it'll account for all these things, and it'll kind of give a conservative plan, or it'll give you a more aggressive plan. That's the only time I use it. I don't use it for my like regular. I go by feel when it comes to all that regular training, but I'll just use
That's a
it for the taper.
great idea to use it for the taper. I never thought of that.
Yeah, because I tend to go a little too much on the taper. I'll go way too much mileage but and then the last week I kind of drop it like a rock. I'll actually go underneath what it tells me. I'll go real conservative for the last week before a race. But it it can it can help out a lot even for just a regular training plan. You just give it all your height, weight, age, everything. Just give it all your specifics, your experience, everything. And it kind of pulls in all these different training plans from like different pros, and it'll look at everything. I mean, I used to follow Hal Corner's training plans. Um and it'd be online for like intermediate advanced runners and stuff like that, which was really useful. And you kind of like, you don't need to follow those plans, to the T. You just, you kind of tweak it, to how you feel and how you think you do, with as far as mileage and how your legs, your recovery, all that stuff. You gotta kind of build it in. And that's that. I mean, really, I think everybody's very specific. I think the best coaches don't just give you some straight training plan. They kind of see what your runner, how you're doing, how you're feeling, if you're injured, if you're sore, all that stuff, if you're tired, and they'll tweak the plans accordingly. Right, but yeah, that's basically what I do. All play it by feel, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Maybe that's what I need to do.
And
More train.
lots of creatine and amino acids, and yeah, I'm 55. I need it. So
Monster.
Eric, well,
well, on the pavement, not on the trail. Once I hit that last trail, it went right back to like 12 minutes.
Eric,
I was
what's your
tired.
what was your finish time, Eric?
What was it, Joe? 2021, I think, or something.
I want to say,
20.
yeah, I think that's what it was.
My good,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the course record.
Yes. Yeah.
that's incredible. Gosh, the sand and the heat on that pavement. I can't decide which one's worse.
The heat on the pavement, and then Eric frickin' day one when it was that hot spot on the pavement, like ran by me like I was standing still. He wasn't even sweating. It was impressive.
It's because I was oversalted.
Yeah. I'm gonna try and oversalt my next race.
Yeah, I had crusted salt all over my body because I was using so much salt that I was retaining all my fluid, but my hands started swelling. So I knew I had too much salt. And because my clothes were dry, even in the heat. So like when when you're not perspiring, you're oversalted. So, but I'd rather kind of be oversalted a bit than undersalted and start getting cramps and dehydrated. But yeah, you're retaining too much fluid, and then
Yeah.
yeah. If you're retaining too much fluid, you're gonna get the swelling in your hands too. So your extremities.
So I
But
got to the finish line. I'm like, why is my gut so big?
hot water, warm
My
water.
my gut was so big. It was
Yeah.
swollen up, my ankles, my feet, everything. And I'm like, it has to be from too much sodium intake.
Or well, your feet are gonna swell regardless. But then, like, I know people get distended guts from when people get. I think you drink warm water,
Uh-huh.
it tends to do that too. Like when your water gets warm and you're drinking hot water. I know that happens too from
I'm
that.
like trying to suck in my gut for the finish line pictures. And my sitting there trying to stretch out my shirt to make it look decent. I'm like, what is going
Yeah,
on?
yeah.
I look like a
It's the
marshmallow
fun.
man coming across the finish line.
It's the fun of doing 100 miles.
Oh my gosh.
For sure. For sure.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess going into Skunk Ape, I know for the most part, a lot of y'all guys have been out there before, but I guess how did y'all even choose the Skunk Ape 100, or I guess choose to come back?
It's a fun atmosphere. Yeah, I wanted to do a challenging trail race. I've done long haul twice, but it's not what. Well, I actually did long haul on the old course. I remember that, Joe, right? But there was only like maybe one, it was a small part that was like almost like single track, and I think it was that last, part coming back on that, and then some of the back end stuff going to the I can't remember the aid station back there was a little chopped up, but it wasn't like this. It wasn't like there was no elevation or anything, or like, it was extreme like uphills and downhills that would crush your quads going down. And so I wanted a different kind of trail race. Plus, I thought it seemed like the perfect timing, and it just seemed like a real interesting, area in Ocala to run trail, that single track. I didn't expect it to be, I didn't expect I knew there was elevation, but I didn't know like how the elevation was. It was like whether it was going to be like a gradual elevation but I didn't expect those extreme ups and downs. I guess for Florida, that's extreme up and down, but, I think I told Ari, I almost ran during the night. I couldn't, I almost ran right off that one switchback. There was the one that goes kind of like to the left and then down. I think I kept running straight. I almost ran right off of it. I was like, and I ended up sliding down one of them on the leaves. It was like, even with my trail shoes, like there were some tricky parts of the traction. But it was really, and then, yeah, my my girlfriend Lindsay, she wanted to do it too because she wanted a little redemption on do a trail race because she had a hard time at long haul with that cold. Um, and she had some issues there, so she wasn't able to finish it. But so she wanted to get back at it. She both decided to do it together. So it really was a fun race, and she really wants to do it next year. So she'll probably be signing up. Expect that.
Heck yeah. Yeah, I've been wanting to do it for a while since you put it on. But sadly, there's a drag race the same weekend, and luckily this year the drag race got switched around, so I had it free. But my wife had signed up for the 50 miler and asked me to crew it, and so I felt like a terrible person because then her knee started bothering her, and I'm like, oh, I can't tell her to drop the race, even though she should for her knee, because if she drops the race, I'm signing up. I'm finally going to be able to do this race. And, the course, I know it inside and out. I've run that whole section, the Barren Board, the Across Florida, all sorts of different stuff, even some of Miller's shorter races, the Landbridge 5K and that trick or trot deal that he does. But yeah, as soon as she dropped, I signed up. And, I was pumped because Shay, the old course record holder, he's a friend of mine. So I'm like, oh man, I got to beat his record, And then Chris Stengel is the first guy I ever met that ran 100 miles. And I'm like, oh man, I got to battle with Stengel, like I've been looking forward to this one for a bit. It's nice to be able to run it this year. It was great.
Yeah,
Well, and I'm
after
glad you did because thank you once again for correcting my wrong,
No
going the
problem.
wrong direction.
It was so awesome. He came up running the wrong way, and I'm like, what is this? What is this motherfucker doing? He's going the wrong way. And then he's like, no, I missed the 49th trailhead. I'm like, no, you didn't. He's
Well,
like, no, it was back there. I'm like, I'm telling you, no, you didn't. It's that way. And then finally he listened to me. And it was funny because he took off running and I looked at Scott who was pacing me and I'm like, all right, we're going to just hang with him for a little bit. And we ran like maybe a half mile or a mile with him. And I look at Scott and I'm like, I can't do this shit. Dude, he's too fast. I ain't got nothing for him. And Scott's like, yeah, I was wondering when you were going to stop because he's like, we were boogieing. I'm like, yeah, man, I ain't got nothing for him.
I had to make us some time. It went backwards. I mean, I for some reason, I just could not remember that there were two underpasses.
That's it. I
For the
knew you
first
hit
one,
that first one, and then
yeah,
you're like, oh man, I missed it. But I was like, no, it's that second
yeah.
underpass. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
But
and my watch didn't even the GPX. I tried to like zoom in and pan and go and like see where it was, and I couldn't even find it. And then I looked at Google Maps, and I was like, I was so confused at that point. I
yeah.
guess it was late at night, and you just get that way late at night
Oh,
sometimes,
you
and you
just
just
get ultra brain and tired,
yeah, yep, yeah.
Then you called the race director, and his advice was useless.
Joe was like, "Oh yeah, you guys maybe you gotta go back. Sorry."
Because he's like,
Uh,
because he mentioned an underpass. I'm like, yeah, there's an underpass, and you go up the hill, then it's there.
Yeah.
But my perspective is a little skewed because I'm on the other side of the course,
Yeah.
looking the wrong. I guess I'm in the wrong perspective of the course.
Oh yeah, but that Google Maps does that too. It turns you the other way.
Other
So when you're
way.
looking at it, you don't know where you're looking at. And I was looking at the wrong way because it turned me the wrong. It like it, if you don't turn the thing around to show the right direction you're going in, it'll send you the opposite direction. So it was like all messed up. It's crazy, but it worked out.
yeah, it doesn't appear to have slowed you down at all, though. Yeah,
Yeah.
so
Well,
The sub 20 was there. It was.
that's amazing.
Well,
It
yeah, I
was
don't even know. I
close.
think maybe it was like maybe I wasted a mile, but that still wouldn't have taken me under, I think, even if it was like a 10-minute mile. But I
Yeah.
did have a long bathroom break at the before the aid station before the berm, which was a
Yeah.
great aid station. They were great there with
Oh, they're so nice.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
yeah, yeah. I had some issues. I mean, I was nauseous there, and they gave me the anti-nausea chewables, and then like I was shivering, and I couldn't get anything down really at that point, other than fruit and gels. And then all of a sudden, I got the chills, and I had to run to the bathroom. It was like crazy. So I was hanging out there for about 20 minutes or something. It was crazy, but they were really great there. And Nick was there. So that was like probably the best aid station.
And obviously, before we get too far into it, Chris, how did you end up there?
How did I end up at Skunk Ape? So, I did the race last year in DNF, and then DNF'd again at long haul 100. But I was already trained up for long haul after a 16-week training plan, and I knew what I did wrong then. I knew what I did wrong last year at Skunk Ape 100, just going out too fast for myself, and I just cooked myself. And my mind wasn't right for that distance at that time, so I had to find the race within a couple months before the summer heat set in, and I shifted focus back to triathlon for the summer. So Skunk Ape was the closest race, and I had to maintain training. I knew what the course was going to be like. I knew the suffering that I was going to endure on the berm and then on that path. But I was prepared for it. And then, having all the support, all the aid station support there, to help you along was another, benefit of me coming back was, well organized race, the support, and having know the course was helpful in getting to the end this time. So that's why I came back, and I'll be back again.
And I think that's a good point too, because I guess a lot of people who don't know this course, and I mean, y'all have kind of mentioned it between the berm, the elevation. I mean, did y'all have a game plan coming into this year?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, my game plan was to go extremely slow and steady. Don't deviate from the plan. And just keep moving forward. That was my game plan. My there was not going to be any finish time in mind. The goal was just to complete it. So if it was right at the 36 hour, then that was going to be the finish time. So um there was no pressure to finish to come in, at any predetermined time, just to finish. And after I made the last turnaround on the way back, I was good up to that point, and I think that's like mile 80ish or 82 or 83, and my legs were still moving, and I was still able to walk pretty consistent, with I don't know, 14, 15-minute mile at that point. But then, things started falling, I would say things fell off the wagon, but, you know, coming back, that heat started settling in again, and then I just couldn't get my legs to move again. as far as running, but I was the goal is just to remain consistent and keep moving forward, and I was just power hiking the rest, the rest the 17 miles back. So that was it, man. I was just moving. I was locked in.
Yeah, for me, my big plan was basically run the first loop of the race, which is like 52 miles, run it basically steady, don't do intervals, take it comfy, but don't let my heart rate spike too much and stay steady. And then I had Chris Marley as a pacer set up. And once I snagged my pacer, that's when I let myself do intervals. And I was doing a 2-minute run and a 30-second walk, which I did that for the entire second loop. And that works good for me because I feel if I walk too long, I get real stiff, and the 30 seconds, I've done 1 minute before, but the 30 seconds is just enough to get my heart rate down low and feel good. And then, just rely on my pacers to keep me moving and, try and eat food when I could and try to stay up on my liquids, but good stuff. I let my pacers set it on their watch, and then I made them run in front of me, and then they would tell me when to run and when to walk. So, but I do normally set it up on my watch. What reason I had them do it is because after doing that interval for like 20 miles, I start to get angry at my watch every time it tells me to do something. So I had them do it, and then like when me and Chris started, like I was like, all right, we need to run a little faster, let's kick it up a couple notches, and kind of like got that pace where it was comfy. And then I always, like, before I would hit an aid station, I'm like, hey, we're going to take these a little bit easier so I can get my heart rate down, because if we hit this aid station with my heart rate too high, I'm going to eat nothing, and I need to eat food. So I used to try to go fast into the aid station, and then I'd get there and I'd look at all the food and be like, this is all garbage. I want nothing to do with it. So now I try to hit the aid station with my heart rate lower so I can kind of look at the food and be like, oh, this looks good, because you need the calories. It's just, especially when it's hot, your brain just like, no, I want nothing to do with this. So,
I understand. Like,
yeah. So, yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, my wife came out and did like a sign. I was so like ultra brained I couldn't even read it. Yeah, that's
nice.
awesome.
So I didn't really find out that there was all that sand or elevation until like a couple of weeks before. But I didn't know much about the course when I loaded the course. And I was looking at it. I guess I didn't know how I was gonna do it until the first loop. I just knew I was gonna try to bank some time on the first loop. I guess get to the berm while it was still packed down and somewhat wet. I think it was still a little damp. So I got to the berm the first time, it wasn't that bad. It wasn't really sugar sandy, so to speak. And then run up hills, run down hills, and pick it up on the pavement. The second loop, it was just like, well, okay, so I'm gonna walk up the hills, walk down the hills, not to blow out my quads, and just save it for the flats. Basically. And the berm got really sandy, but at least it was at night and it was cool. It was cooler, so it wasn't like I was running the berm in the heat of the day. And but yeah, I kind of just was kind of play the first loop as bank it, and then go more conservative on the second loop, just to save the quad. I mean, my quads were hurting going downhill, so I'm walking these downhills. That way you can just keep going on the flats. And nutrition wise, it's just like I think I survived on gels this race, which I normally don't. I usually eat a lot, but my stomach was just kind of funky, and I really couldn't get much down other than after about 60, about like fruit and gels. That was it. So anything else just really couldn't even look at that point. But I was down in gels probably like every 45 minutes. I was really trying to keep up on my like topping off those calories to keep the legs going. Um, I mean, I would just as much as I could. Any of those fruit gels too. Anything kind of like that was like a gel or a liquid I could get down. Or fruit. That was it. Um, and of course I was drinking Coke, a lot of Coke at the last part. A lot of every time the aid station has some Coke is down in Coke. Helps the stomach. So yeah, that was basically the game plan. Just it's sometimes these races are like you gotta you gotta feel it out, see how it goes, and then you kind of get a game. You kind of get an idea in your head about the second loop or third loop, or it's 3 or 4, or whatever it is. You kind of know where you're going from there. But that's basically my game plan. Mm, this was tougher. I would say this is a tough course. I mean, I've only done long haul, the 2 different courses, so and which is trail, but it's like cross country, a lot of it. It's not too technical. It's flat. It's got some rocks, some stumps. Yeah, yeah. But I was literally cursing the trail, the one coming, the trail from Pruitt all the way to the road. I was at nighttime. I was cursing it. I took 2 hard falls, smashed my knee, smashed my, I was sitting there just every time I almost hit my toe and fell. I was like, fuck you. I was getting angry at the trail. I was so pissed at the trail. I just could not wait to get off that portion of the trail. I was just getting so pissed. But and, yeah, so it was like I was getting so angry at that trail after a certain amount of time, and it was hard to see. Like even with 2 headlamps, like it gets tricky out there to see the trail where you're going and the turns and sometimes the ups and downs. So it's like yeah, and then it gets all those rocks and stumps. It's just
Yeah,
it got tricky.
Hey,
I would.
how about them creepy spiders, man? I didn't realize. I'm like,
With
what are
the
all these
eyes?
little things? Yeah, man. The
Yeah,
freaking.
those are cool.
I'm like, oh my gosh! Now I know that spiders come out at nighttime. My
This
goodness.
this one had my closest encounter with a black bear and its cub, which is pretty sweet. They
Oh.
were the cub was climbing a tree and it was like 10 foot away, and I heard it climbing the tree, and I'm like, oh, it's just a baby black bear.
Oh
And
gosh.
and Scott Hoover was next to me. He's like, that ain't no baby. And I looked down. And there's like a bear staring at me in the eyes, like it's night, and I'm just like, oh,
Yeah.
and we took off. Like it was like 10 feet.
Oh
It
my
Oh,
was
goodness.
too
it was
close.
like it was too close. Like we didn't grab a kid. We just ran. I'm
Oh
just
yeah.
like, oh, this bear is going to kill us. And that
Yeah.
was when we were chasing Eric at night. And yeah, it was awesome though. But yeah, as for you saying the difficulty, I would put this one like a middle of the road. Like let's say long hauls, an easy trail race in Florida, and Just Survive 125 is the hardest one in Florida. I would put this one in the middle,
Yeah, yeah.
just because, that lake to ocean, it depends on how
Oh
wet
yeah,
it is.
lake to
Yeah,
ocean could be really bad too.
it can be bad, and it's just,
Yeah,
but if it's dry, it's
yeah.
not bad. But this one, yeah, I think it's a good middle of the road, uh, hard, but, I like it because it has that diversity. Like long haul, I will always go to and I'll support somebody and I'll pace somebody or something like that, or do an aid station. But I just I don't like the lack of single track and the lack
Mm.
of different stuff where this one, it's like, you're like, oh man, I'm so tired of this trail. And then you hit the berm. And then you're kind of like, I'm kind of something different. You're on the sand. This is great. And then you're like, oh man, I'm tired of this sand. And then, you get on pavement and you get a little break from that. So I like that change of the course so much.
Those changes to me help my mind
Me
deal with
too.
helps my mind deal with like any discomfort and it kind of breaks up the races into chunks rather than trying to time it
Yes.
by, hey, I'm just gonna break it down by mileage.
Yep.
You actually could break it down by point to point.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
I like
enjoyable.
that about it. And the idea of doing a 50-mile loop, you have 2 loops, you didn't have to do 8 of them or
Yeah.
something, which is nice.
Mhm.
I hate loop races, unless the only ones I have the mental capacity to do are backyards, and
Yeah.
that's it. I don't like doing other loop races, but this one, two big loops, I can handle that. That's not bad,
Yeah, with diversity.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
even at nighttime, going through the berm at nighttime, with the moon out, the sand is like kind of glowing.
Mhm.
It's just kind of relaxing. I don't
It's
know.
nice, yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, and that's what I think it's interesting because technically it's an out and back, but it's not really an out and back. It's an outbound and inbound, which kind of sounds
Mhm.
confusing at first, but that's why it does have that variation.
Yeah,
Mhm.
which is nice hitting that paved. Like some spots you got to do an out and back on, but doing that little bit of a circle, and then for me the course was marked. Like you did such a good job, and you putting the stuff on there to not remove the signs and stuff worked fantastic this year. It really
The
so
reflectors on the tape was key at nighttime. I mean, I never really
Mhm.
ran a nighttime race that late in the night, but seeing the reflections for a quarter
Mhm.
mile ahead was great.
That's what's cool because it's like bing, 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 bing if you hit them just right.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, I will say over the past 2 years, tremendously have worked out the kinks of signage, and that's always the tricky part. I mean, the first year of the Skunk Ape 100, people stole the flagging twice. We
Wow.
replaced the flagging. Oh, it was stolen 3 times, and we replaced it twice, and after the 3rd time it got stolen, we're we're just like, "You know what? Hopefully they remember how to get back because we can't just keep sending people out here to redo it, redo it, redo it." There's the do not remove, state of Florida State Park, do not remove signage.
Yeah, that was smart. That definitely fixed it.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, there's a lot of foolish people out there.
Mhm. Uh,
But I guess kinda, jumping into it, I mean, you got packet pickup, the start line. I mean, walk us through the packet pickup. I mean, you go to the Santos Trailhead. I know some of y'all came out Friday, some of y'all came Saturday morning, but, like, what's the bib pickup like?
For me, it was great. Just like a high school reunion, catching up with everybody and seeing Ios out there with Pace of Travel. Reed, I bought a couple hats from him. Yeah, he's given me enough hats. It's like least I can do is buy some. And then Joe Miller out there, and then just hung out talking with everybody. I feel like I know so many people. It was great. Just kind of did that, and then you let me set up a little canopy and stuff because I knew when I got done I was going to want to take a little nap, and got all that set up. So yeah, packet pickup went smooth. It was great. Just hanging out and bullshitting with everybody.
Yeah, I came in also Saturday morning and very accommodating. As soon as I got my race bib, the timer guy just ran right over with my timing chip. I didn't even have to go to the booth and call me out by my first name. Your timing strap and especially all the goodies. Gotta love that beer mug, that beer
Mhm.
glass. That's
Oh
that's
yeah.
key right there. And that's a comfortable hat. I like the hat. That's a win right there for dad.
Yeah, it's super easy packet pickup. Great. It's convenient. Got our pop-up set up. Very nice and close to the finish area. And I gotta love all the extra stuff you get.
But yeah, I mean, standing at the starting line, it's like 7 a.m., you get the race speech, which really isn't much. It's just a reminder of, like outbound, inbound, what to follow. But the race takes off. I mean, take me into those early miles. So, like from I guess the start to 49th Avenue, you're in the first outbound section. How did those early miles go down?
For me, it went down great, just casual running. It was cool out. Was trying to move quick enough to take advantage of the coolness. I got a wonderful morning poop out at one point, and which is always a good sign. And then it was just kind of going back and forth with runners. It was like Stengel was in front of me, I was in front of him. Rebecca was, back and forth. No, she was ahead of me there, and there was a good group that went out pretty fast. Like Sage was up there, just boogieing. It went great. Those first miles were just fun and happy for me.
Yeah, for me it was starting the back of the pack. I knew the first section was somewhat single with track, and people last year were trying to pass and it got a little congested there. So I was gonna start in the back, start slow, be consistent, get in a groove, and just watch my footing over those routes in the first part of the course, and just stay consistent after that.
Yeah, same. Yeah, kind of just stay in the middle, warm it up. Get used to get your heart rate up, get the legs warmed up, and just wait it out until you hit the open areas where you can start passing. But I just basically stayed in line with everybody, and just at that point you don't worry yet about anything. It's a long day, so you just make sure you warm up those legs properly, and uh, you know, and then when it opens up, and that's when you take your opportunities. So first miles were good. They're nice and easy.
Yeah, because I mean, at that point, it's still 60s, creeping into the 70s. That trail section is well, from start to Lambridge is the flattest section of trail. So, I mean, at that point, you kind of, as you should, just kind of settle and cruise in there.
Yeah, I was just preparing myself. Haven't done this last year, and knowing what my pace is like, I'm not very fast. I knew by the time I get to the berm, it's going to be hot. So, and part of what it did me in last year was going out too fast and then cooking on the berm, trying to fight the sand, and I just wasn't going to do that this year. I was just going to just remain, you know, just stay slow and just steady and just be prepared for what's going to come.
Yeah, because that's the big thing. After 49th, the sun is finally up. You do have those exposed hills. You
Yeah.
have that pavement hill. And then you go to Ross Prairie, hit the aid station, and then the berm. How did
Yeah.
those miles go down?
So the paved portion, I was walking all the uphills, even though it was early in the race, the first lap, and then I was jogging the downhills because I knew the berm was going to be hot. So the goal of going through the berm for me was just to walk as much as I can, and actually run as much as I can when I can, doing intervals, and then if there's no hard packs, then just walk it and stay easy. Don't fight it. Don't fight it, and don't try to destroy my legs trying to fight it. Just it's gonna be there, and I'm just gonna have to deal with it.
Yeah, for me, the berm was great. It hadn't gotten to the real hot part yet. It was getting a little warm, but I felt comfy. And then it was like I was just kind of maintaining the same pace, but when we hit like I'm gonna say mile 20 and stuff, it felt kind of like everybody around me was just kind of slowing down. So I just kind of maintained my comfy pace, and uh, like I felt good in all those miles too. I didn't start feeling it until on the way back when I hit the pavement. That's when Eric passed me and it was like as hot as it was going to be for the day. That's when I was cooking. So
Yep. Yeah, the berm was definitely a challenge. uh, Again, at night it was more of a challenge because it got really sugar sand, like the really loose the sugar sand. So trying to stick to the edges on that berm was really tough. There was no edge for it. But a lot of times when it comes to that sand, you want to stick to the edges, but not much to run on pavement once you hit that pavement. Like I was surprised, like the second loop around, I was like the land bridge. I was like, I don't remember this this incline being so tough to get over the land bridge on that. Yeah, I was like, holy cow! I don't. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. Feeling it at mile. I don't know, I was feeling it as more on my stomach, but man, yeah, the miles they start to those legs start to hurt probably around 60, 70. It's just power through it, you know.
Yeah, because I know after the berm, you make it to the State Route 200 aid station where you do cross over State Route 200, which they're actually going to build an underpass eventually. It's coming. So that's going to be a nice change.
Right?
But from there you head out to Pruitt. You know, what are those miles like?
I already gave my opinion of those through it. Yeah.
Those
Oh, and roots and rocks, 6.5, I think, right?
That was
Yeah.
that was one of my favorite sections. It's like the first loop I ran all of it. You know, the second time I walked all the ups, and then I like to cruise the
Mhm.
downhills and boogie, and like I just know that area so well. Like what Eric was saying, like there was that turn and he like went off into the off the trail. I'm just like, man, I know exactly where you did that. You know, it makes me giggle, but. Yeah, for me that spot was great. That was at that turnaround when I hit Pruitt, I was in first place for like 10 feet. And then Rebecca got back in front of me. Yeah. I did like my little victory dance being in first place for 10 feet. And then yeah, I like those miles, you know.
Yeah, it's funny because that spot that you're talking about, it's the only switchback on the course, and it's the highest, most southern switchback in the United
Hmm.
States.
I almost had the pleasure of falling off of it.
Yeah, that's the fun fact of the course. We have a highest, most southern. If you string along so many words, you can have a record.
Exactly. Exactly. And the switchback is what is it like? Maybe 80 foot, or
Yeah.
something.
I mean, after that, you go from Pruitt, and then you got to go all the way back. You've got trail, a big stretch of pavement, and then you're back to trail. I mean, how did your inbound segment on that first go around go?
I was hot, and I knew I 95% of my training's on trail, so I know I'm not as good of a road runner as everybody else, and I know that's a spot where everybody else is better at. So it always creeps in my head. It's like, oh, here come all the fast people, you know. All the people who are actually trained up and better. And then, yeah, I was definitely, I like the pavement because it's mindless, you know, but it definitely, that first loop, that's where I was hot and that's where I was running as hard as I could, basically let my heart get to 160, and I was running 11:30 pace, and that was it. There was, if I would have gone any faster, I would have quit running 5 miles later, you know? So,
Yeah, I knew I was gonna cook on that section, both times, and, I knew it was coming, so, I mean, like I said, I was just locked in and prepared for it and one foot in front of the other just to get through it.
I kind of had fun on the pavement. I mean, it's just so much
mm,
easier than trail. It's just like you just put one foot in front of the other, it's just like a nice straight line, and you're like, ooh, get a little relief. So I mean, from the lateral movements and the uneven surface and the roots and the rocks and tripping. But it's nice. And then it's nice that trail. You get to rest your hip flexors. You don't have to pick your feet up as much, so you can kind of glide it, go easy. And save some energy actually on the pavement. But even and you can go faster. And the heat. I mean, I guess that heat doesn't really. I mean, it it gets hot, but I can handle it pretty well. I had my ice scarf with me, but I never actually broke it out. Actually, I was kind of like I didn't want to because I think I was fighting something, and the last thing I wanted was cold all over my back on my lungs. But I never really broke out the ice scarf. I thought I was gonna have to, but um, But yeah, the pavement wasn't too bad. I only remember going the pavement during the day that one time, and then the next time was at night. So it was the second time on the pavement was pretty cool. It was already cooled off and everything. But it's a nice change up, I think, in a race to have that and kind of give your legs a little different, you know, experience there. A little relief, and then you get back on the trail, and then you're running a different way.
Yeah, because once you get back to Santos, I mean, it's 52.5 miles. And normally for some other races, you're just over halfway. This one, you're actually halfway. I saw a bunch of y'all out there, but like, how did it feel coming into that first half?
I was cooked. I My wife was trying to get me to eat something. I told her I think to fuck off. I'm not sure. And, then I told her I laid down on the grass and I said, grab that gallon of water and I want you to dump it on me. Because I knew at this point I was picking up a pacer, and in my mind I'm like, all right, like it's time. I had my fun first run. Now I gotta go to work. I gotta make it happen. And so she dumped some water on me. I went to the bathroom again, which was great. And then I started doing intervals, and I looked at Chris. I was just like, all right, man, that's what we're doing. 2 minutes, 30 seconds. Like, let's go. We're going to work. And it was cool because I'd been running in with Rebecca, and then when we were going out, I passed her and she's like, I don't think I'm going to see you again. And I'm like, come on. She's like, she was walking, and, I was like, all right, we got to go. This is it, So it was nice. It was nice picking up that pacer. It helped me a lot. It always does. That's why I'd set him up, because I knew I'd be able to push myself harder with somebody.
Yeah, I felt pretty good coming in halfway. Just got myself together, sat down, changed socks, and just packed some more element to my vest, and I was gone. I was there for about 15 minutes and back out. I didn't want to stop and lose momentum.
Yeah, same. You kind of go in and out. You don't want to linger too long there. You get too comfortable, you'll start sitting down and taking it too much time. And I felt pretty good mentally and physically when I got in. Wasn't too bad, and it's just more or less trying to remember what the hell you need. And just trying to. And it's like you're going so fast, your mind's like, oh, what do I need? What do I need for this? Second, the light. I need the light. I need the other light. I need batteries. I need this stuff. It was just kind of trying to remember the power bank for my phone, just whatever you need. It's just you kind of like trying to remember, just get that going, and then get in, get out, and keep, just continue. But it was nice coming in. Felt good, and it was an easy turnaround.
Yeah, and I guess starting loop too, like, how different does the course feel on that second time?
Yeah, you got to run it differently the second time around for sure, especially because it's dark. But then also, your legs are starting to get tired, so you got to really pick and choose the spots where you're going to push harder or not as hard or walk. You know, if you feel like you can run and you feel like walking, walk for 20 seconds, take your time. It just becomes like a whole different race that second half, honestly.
Yeah, it's like a different race for myself too. Just being at nighttime, it's refreshing. It's like a reset. It's exciting. That there's a change in the day, and now you're going into the night, and you're looking forward to the challenge at nighttime, and then for that sunrise to come. In my case, yes, a sunrise.
Yeah, I mean, like, what sections hit you harder, on that second go around that were probably pretty
Throw it,
easy on the first go?
throw it.
Yeah, the berm was definitely harder the second time around, just because the
Yep.
sand was more turned up. I was
Mhm.
thrilled to be, that it cooled off. So, running in the night was great. Navigation, I just the trail I know so well. There was no real concerns there, and it was just a matter of sticking with Chris and staying in control. Because I knew once I picked up Hoover at Pruitt that I paced Hoover during long haul, and I destroyed him. Like I pushed him, like he was puking, and I'd be like, "All right, you're done puking. You got 15 seconds before we run again." Like I was brutal, so I knew my payback was coming. So like once I picked up him, and he's fast, he's faster than me, and it's just like. I'm like, all right, baby, let's get to work. And, we were pushing hard, especially once we hit that pavement. But I can't say I didn't, I liked all of it. There was nothing that I really didn't like. My favorite was probably the downhills, over, Pruitt and back. It's like, I felt like me and Scott, when we were going down those downhills, man, I felt like I was running a 7-minute pace, but it was probably like, 9-minute pace or something. It felt so fast. That was probably some of my favorite sections. And then getting to Pruitt, and I had I learned this from Just Survive. I pre-cook ramen and put avocado in it and hard-boiled eggs. And then it just it sits all day. And so when you get to it, it's already like room temperature, it's really, really safe to eat. And, um, I don't know, like the noodles soak up all the broth and stuff. And so I killed like half of that giant container of it. And I don't know why I love it. Like you would think it'd be disgusting. And even, like Shay was watching me eat it in like disgust and horror, you know? But man, I ate that, and it hit so good. But yeah, it was all good for me. Trying to catch Speedy there, but man, he's just too fast. Yeah.
Yeah, Pruitt was definitely the most interesting. Sure. Yeah, the most challenging for me. Not used to that.
Yeah, it's funny because as we were watching, just seeing either the tracking with the mats, or just hearing from either Scott or whoever was out there, we're like, yeah, it's going to be really close between Ari and Eric, because Ari's going to be stronger on the trail, so he does have the outbound advantage. But Eric's a lot stronger on the road, and he has the inbound advantage.
Yeah, it definitely is some give and take. But I tried to push as best I could through it. I mean, I don't have as much trail around here, so it's harder. I got to go to like Starkey Ranch in like Port Richey to run, and there's not a lot of elevation there, but it is technical. And then we got Hammock Park over here in Dunedin. That's all I got. That's got a lot of sand in it, actually. And Starkey Ranch actually has a lot of sand on the back end of it on some of those loops. So I am used to running a lot of sand, even down in South Florida. Most of the wildlife areas, they're all sand. It's all sugar sand. I used to run this Yamato scrub down there, and it was just 4.15 miles of sugar sand. And I used to train that way all like the whole summer, doing sand loops. But then you got those crazy races down there, like the Sandspur Ultra, where it's just all a sand dune. The whole race is sand. So I was like one and done with that one. Yeah, but it gets challenging to try to train race specific. I got to go kind of travel from here to do that. So.
Yeah, Scott was working me hard. He's a terrible friend.
Well, that's the tricky thing too, because sometimes, like, you've already done it once, or for some of y'all, multiple times from previous years. But it's like sometimes that familiarity, it either helps or it's mentally tougher because you know what's coming.
No, it's just pain. You know the pain is coming. Yes.
Yeah, it's awesome seeing everybody. I always enjoy it. And even there's a guy I gave a watch to, Scott, and he finished his 50 miler just a little bit after I finished. And I had finished. I was laying down. I see him finishing over there, and I'm like, I need to get up and tell him congrats. And I'm like, I can't move. I can't do nothing. Yeah. Even John Boffin was there, and I was laying in my canopy, and I'm like, John, and he's like looking around for me. I'm like, dude, I need you to go to my car and get me a bag. It's got clothes and stuff in it. I'm like, dude, I can't move. And he went and he grabbed all my crap for me because I was just, as soon as I finished the race, it was just like, oh my God, everything hurts so bad,
Yeah, John was running too, and then he took the DNF and he just hopped right into volunteering.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Like between John and then all the aid stations, I think the aid stations were pretty baller this year.
Oh, they were awesome. And the race director even sprung for those fancy nerd clusters. Man. Yeah, those are clutch at the end. Yeah.
They were BOGO at Publix. So if they were not BOGO, I probably would not have bought them. But since they were BOGO, we had them at the aid stations.
I'm used to you having a cold hot dog with no bun and no condiments. So,
oh man, those hot dogs were on fire.
All your stuff was so good. Yeah.
Hot dogs and blueberry muffins for me.
Oh, that sounds so good.
It was awesome. Those blueberry muffins, those miniature ones.
Yeah, you just take a muffin, a hot dog, or a Slim Jim and just slap it together. You got a pig in a blanket. But I guess jumping back into this back half, the inbound section, you leave Pruitt, you hit the road, you make yourself all the way down to the land bridge. How did that final stretch, before the final stretch, how did those miles go down?
For me, it was just pushing on the intervals. I want to say Scott had me running like 8:30 pace during the run, and then I was just trying to breathe and get my heart rate down during the walk. And I knew the end was in sight, so it felt good.
Yeah, for me, it was just, I was a slower runner, so just slow and steady, just keep moving one foot in front of the other. There was no stopping, there was no quitting or DNF this time. It was get to the finish one way or another. I mean, it was hot. That stretch on the pavement was hot, and every time I looked down, I was seeing Looney Tunes characters in the pavement. I'm like, what the heck is going on here? I'm like, this must be those hallucination things. And then I saw like an F-150 in the woods. I'm like, how'd that truck get here? I'm like, this stuff is really real. I'm like, this is pretty cool actually. But yeah, for me it was just one foot in front of the other. Just keep powering through it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, as usual, that last section seemed to go on forever. So I wasn't sure about the miles till the end. So because I think I hit that, kind of went over mileage a little bit on that backtrack, and then I thought it was like, for some reason I thought it was like 103, not a 105, and I'm like, I keep hitting the miles. I'm like, man, and then my GPX was telling me I had this many left, and I was like, what's going on? It was just like, when is this gonna end? How many more miles I gotta go? It's like, it just seemed to last like it always does. They always last forever at the end. So yeah, 106.8 something 9 or something like that. Yeah, and always longer than you expect.
They had to keep starting my watch over because my like at one point my heart rate was stuck at 160 for like 8 miles, and I'm like walking and I'm like, my heart rate's not 160. Like what is going on? And it got into my head, and so I actually stopped my run and then restarted it, and everything worked normal again. Then happened to me 2 times. At one point it got stuck at like 118, and it just starts getting into my head. Even though I know it's not right, I'm just like, this is bothering me,
And you were using an arm strap, right?
Yeah, and I was using an arm strap, and I think it was
Yeah, that's weird.
I never had the problem before, and I don't know if it was just like, I think the arm strap like lost connectivity with my watch or
Hmm.
something, you know.
Sometimes,
Um,
sometimes, sometimes I know that those watches, they get into something called cadence lock, and they
yeah,
think the thumping of your cadence is your heartbeat. So if your cadence is steady like that, it'll like I used to like it would say like 180, which is my cadence, and I was like,
yeah.
there's no way my heart rate's 180, and it was like
Well,
finding out it was hitting cadence lock, and I had to restart my watch every damn
yeah.
time too.
Yeah, and that's what I was thinking too. And it was well, and I was doing intervals at the time, so I'm looking. I only look at my heart rate when I finish a run, and I'll be like, all right, where am I at? And I'm walking, and I'm like, it says I'm at 160, and I've been walking for a minute. I'm like, it was pissing me off, because I'm
Mm.
like I'm dying right now if my heart rate's 160 and I'm walking. Like I'm having a heart attack and I just don't know it.
Hmm.
And I'm like I feel fine. So that's why I kept restarting it. So I don't even know, I know I did not get any extra miles. I did not get lost. I did not step 1 foot off the course like hardly at all. So, but I need to do the math and see what the three things added up were. But it's definitely, probably somewhere around 103, 105, something like that. So,
That's the tricky thing too, because sometimes you also have to make sure that your watch has like the programming update too, which I didn't really think about that. Like at Tahoe 200, or I guess my Tahoe 100, I was at like
hey, you made it
40
farther than
hours.
me.
I was at like 40 hours and I was doing
Hmm.
so good at keeping that thing charged. And then it just froze. And
Uh,
I had to just turn the whole watch off. And then
Hmm.
I just said, screw it. I got a pacer now. Uh, Luke's got it for me. He'll watch on his watch. But I was a little bit sad that I did not
Hmm.
get the full credit
Uh,
because then it didn't even save the file.
uh,
no, it sucks.
that's terrible. Garmin?
It was Garmin, yeah.
Yeah, I've had Garmin's lock up on me like that so many times. Right before a race, it would lock up, or you have to restart. And the only way to get it out of, for to unlock it was to plug it in the charger, and then it would like somehow free up, get it out of that lock mode. But knock on wood, I haven't had that problem with Koros. So it's never jammed up on me or locked up so far. So knock on wood. One. But I switched from Garmin to Coros. I used to use Garmin for triathlon, but then I switched to Coros. So
That's the tricky thing with the watches.
hmm
But I guess kind of moving into that final finish, I mean, from Lambridge to Santos, I think technically it's 6.7 miles, whatever it actually may be,
hmm
whatever it actually comes out to be. But, take me into those final miles to the finish. I mean, how did those miles go down?
They were kind of rough for me. Scott had it was dark and my headlamp was dead, and then I didn't have a spare, but Scott did, so he gave me one of his, and then it went dead 5 minutes later. And then I had he had like a flashlight, and I was using that, and then he was jamming out. He had his music going and he was boogieing, and I was just doing everything I could to try to keep up with him. And I'm like, he was probably like 100 feet ahead of me, but in my mind, he was like, a mile. I'm just like hating life a little bit, but I'm like, put my music in and started jamming out, and just kind of got him done. And I was so happy. Every turn I kept waiting for that pavement, like that last, whatever, 200 feet or 300 feet, whatever it is. And then I'm like, where is this pavement? Where is this pavement? I finally hit it. And
yeah.
I'm like, oh, thank God I am done with this thing. I was so happy.
Same. It's like you just you're hurting so much at that point. You're just like almost there, and you're just all heart, all just everything you put into the day. You just want to keep pushing as hard as you can at the very end. And yeah, like I said, it just seems like forever, those last miles. Always does. You just want to get it done. So
Yeah, but you see that pavement for a while because you're running on the trail parallel to it, and you're like, "Oh man, I'm gonna get on this pavement," and then all of a sudden you start taking a left turn back into the woods again. I'm
Yeah.
like, you remember that? There's like a couple left turns that take you away from the pavement all over again, and I'm like, oh no, not again. So, I mean, for me, it's just like it was like kind of like a death march. Keep moving, it's like a long 6 miles, but I got to get it done, and it's like stumbling, whatever it takes, just get to the finish line, and that's it.
Heck
That's
yeah.
what it was.
Yeah, and I mean, crossing that finish line, what was it like to cross the finish?
Beautiful.
But very rewarding. Yeah,
Always feels nice.
Scott cooked me a ribeye, and it was so good. He brought it over on like a cutting board and had it cut in little pieces for me, and I was just laying down like like a sultan on my blow up mattress thing, just nibbling on ribeye. It was great.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Pizza or Five Guys?
Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
I was craving pizza.
but yeah, crossing that finish line is like, it's a huge accomplishment, especially since it was my third attempt. And, ever since I did that, ever since I crossed the finish line, 2 weeks ago, everything to me just seems like it's so much easier now. It's like,
That's
well,
awesome.
I did 100 miles. I was up for 33 hours. Everything else just seems so easy now.
Yeah,
Appreciate
good
that.
job getting it done.
Thanks,
Yep.
man.
Yeah. The breakthrough finally, huh? Feels good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like sometimes that's the hardest part when you go back to a race that you didn't finish the last time or you had to drop down. Just getting back to that finish line, it's such a wild feeling that it really is hard for people to understand.
It is. And, speaking for myself, it was really more mental. It was really more mental than physical. So, the saying is mind over matter. You already know what the matter is. The matter is you have to complete the race, and then your mind at points will play tricks on you, saying you want to stop. But it's really you talking to yourself and telling your mind that, hey, this is what we're gonna do, and this is what we're gonna get done. So it's really you. I essentially talk to myself and tell myself, hey, I'm gonna get this done, and I'm gonna keep moving. And whatever my mind is thinking, I need to recalibrate it and set it in this direction and just move. And it works for me. That's how I get through it.
That's cool.
Yeah, I mean, Ari, you've definitely pushed a lot of times where it's like, holy shit.
Yeah, so my first 100-mile race was Just Survive 125. And like I fell apart so bad. And it's funny because I always go back to that race. And like when I like this race, mile 90, mile 95, I was kind of hurting, and I'm just like, well, I'm hurting, but I'm not hurting like I was at Just Survive. I'm like, you can keep pushing, and I always kind of go back to those harder moments, and it's like, all right, this is bad, but it ain't as bad as that one, and that always
Mhm.
works for me. And yeah, and what I do is I kind of have that same mind spot set as you do, Justin, where I kind of keep that positive vibe jamming, and seeing other people and doing all that stuff keeps me going until I hit that real suffer point. Then I put in my sappy songs and my sad stuff, and then I'm fueled by like anger and darkness. But I can only handle that for like 10 miles.
Yeah.
So it's got to be like at the end of the race, the happy stuff I can keep going for a long time. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, like they said, you always think back to the toughest race you ever done,
Yeah.
and you think about that, and you get that done. You know where you're at versus that race, and you how well you're doing physically and mentally. You always make that's like your gauge of your base. What you can take.
Yeah.
So a lot of times you'll know you can take so much more. So.
Yeah, and that's a good point. And I guess, we can kind of start to wrap it up with, what was the good, the bad, and the ugly for your Skunk Ape 100?
Yeah, for me, the good was the support of everybody else, whether it be my pacers or my wife, and every aid station, from Reed to Shay to everybody out there supporting. That was definitely the good. The bad had to be when I hit that pave section and it was hot out and I was just like a roasted marshmallow. I was cooking. The ugly, I don't know. Me. Yeah, I can't, nothing really, for all in all, like all the 100 milers I've done, this one was one of the ones that, like, overall it was good. I didn't hit any really, really ugly dark spots, and it was overall just a great race for me. I wanted to get sub 20 hours, which I didn't, but I was still very happy doing it in just under 21 hours, which was, I hadn't, as a PR for me for 100 miles, and I hadn't run 100 miles really hard in quite a long time, so it was fun doing that.
Yeah, for myself, as far as the bad and the ugly, it has nothing to do with the course because I knew what the course was. I knew what my downfall was last year. I knew what I was getting into, and I had a plan to overcome the bad and the ugly. I'd say there was one point, and it came on early. I guess the race demons, came in at like mile 25 so soon, and I ran into the Sombrero aid station and a couple buddies out there, and they just gave me some encouragement and just, hey, just keep going, and that was the one point where it could have been bad or ugly. There's so much good, from all the emails, the multiple emails for information coordination leading up to the race. The check-in, the aid stations, all the great support from those aid stations, the course markings. We talked about, a lot of this good during the session, but the whole experience was good. Regardless of what the course threw at me, the whole experience was good and very memorable.
Yeah, the good was definitely being out there with everybody and being out in that beautiful, you know, park and the nature, the trails, even the paved, the whole thing was a beautiful run, out in the nighttime, seeing the stars, being out there. So just being out there with everybody volunteering at the aid station, it was a great experience. And you know, I guess the bad and ugly sometimes go hand in hand, and it definitely was that second loop back at Pruitt for me. It was just almost fell a bunch of times on that one, but you know, um, and sometimes like the ugly is just the way you feel sometimes physically, whether it's nausea or stomach issues, especially before that second berm loop at that aid station. But all in all, it was just a great day. So and you always have fun with it, and it's just always feels like a great accomplishment once you finish. And all the people that you race with. So it was a lot of fun.
Heck yeah. So, Berm, love it or hate it?
I loved it this year.
Yeah, it's great. No problem with that.
It was definitely harder the second go around.
Yeah.
But
You get more sand in your shoes the second when it gets loose like that for sure.
And then the paved path, love it or hate it?
hated it the first
Right.
time. Was happy to see it the second time.
I don't know. I think I hate it. I'd rather have the berm.
I love the pavement.
An aid station, what was your favorite aid station out there?
Reed State aid station.
Yeah.
Oh man, those French toast
Okay.
sticks hit it.
Yeah, it's definitely Reed and Shay and Bill. He did a great job with me. I think he was at 200 maybe. But yeah, Reed and Nick Urea did. I mean, they were like a pit crew working on me. They told me that Eric
Yep.
had potty problems, and they're like, "Oh, you can catch him." And I'm like, "Oh, why couldn't you just tell me he was an hour ahead of me and I could just chill?" They're like, "No, man, he was in the bathroom for a long time." They're
Yep.
like, and I'm like, "Oh man,"
Was that the
but
You Run You aid
yeah,
station?
Yes.
yeah.
Oh
Yes.
man, I thought I was in a 5-star hotel when I rolled up in there. They were taking my shoes off. They were playing with
Yeah.
my toes. They were charging my phone. I'm like, my goodness, this is
Wiping you down with a towel.
yeah, man. They had it
Yeah.
going on there.
They were
had
on
it
it.
going on. Those guys were great.
And boom, there we go.
Awesome. I appreciate it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Good time. Thank you.
Nice, Joe.
Thanks
Oh,
for
yeah.
the race, dude. Looking forward to it.
Thanks, Joe.
All right, there we go. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks
Oh, yeah.
everybody. And great job, everybody, getting it done. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Have a great night.
Good night, everybody.
Out in the woods, out in the swamps, down by the Willie Coochie. It started with a podcast, that's the thing. The Florida Trail Runners, I see a skunk ape, chasing me down, chasing me down. I'm doing the long haul, running all over town, A station to A station, I see the skunk ape, chasing me down. I'm doing the long haul, running all over town, Starting in the north, Tallahassee. Starting Central Florida, Tampa, Ocala, Orlando, Day City. Green Swamp, headed down south. Headed to the Keys, Lake to Ocean. Miami, out to the East Coast, Daytona, Jacksonville, Pioneer Trail. On a single trail, running 1 to 100 miles. A station to A station, all around. The Florida Trail Runner. Feet hit dirt where the palm trees sway. Mossy oaks, palmetto pines and cypress knees. All grass bending, go find your way. Swarm mist rising, every step I take I feel it flow. Beach sunrises, beach sunsets, sugar sand all around. From the Swanee River to the St. John's, from Crystal River and the Rainbow Springs, Weeki, Watchee, and Manatees, and the Everglades, and Lake Okeechobee. The humidity is sticky, but I love this game. From the Panhandle down to the Keys, running free where the world feels at ease. Florida trails take me higher, through the pines and palmetto. The National Scenic Trail, muddy shoes, sun on my face. Every mile is a wild embrace. Florida trails don't let me go. Through the hammock, the marsh, and the glow. Florida Trail Runner.